Good evening and welcome to Taking Stock. The world of retail is evolving really quickly around the world. More and more people are shopping online. Some people surviving exclusively shopping online. It's a bit more tricky in South Africa. And in South Africa, where growth rates of internet shopping are up by about 35% a year, they're really still not making much of an impact in the world of retail, simply because most of us like to go and spend our weekends at the mall. That's something that South African startup in 2006, YuppieChef's, which beavered away at online shopping for more than a decade before venturing into the shopping malls, has discovered. We are at the V&A waterfront in one of soon-to-be 7 retail stores. It was 2 years ago. Andrew Smith, the founder and chief executive of YuppieChef's, it was, 2 years ago you decided to go from purely online into physical retail as well. What was the big decision for that?
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago we opened our first store in the Willowbridge shopping centre. But before that, we had our offices and customers would arrive and they said they've driven from far away and they'd like to buy something. And we said, well, we're an online store, this is our warehouse, but I suppose we'll make a plan and we'll get it for you. And more people came. And we realized that there's still a big part of the South African market who are just, they would like to be in a store for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes to touch and feel the products, sometimes out of a sense of urgency that they need it right now, and or just a trust factor that they would like to shop at a place that they know they'll be able to bring it back afterwards. And so with these factors together, we just thought we were missing out on too much of the market, that less than 2% of retail in South Africa happens online, and that other 98% is a big growth opportunity.
What is your assessment as to why South African retail shopping on the internet is as small as it is?
I think that it's been easy and convenient to blame things like a low internet penetration or perhaps access to credit card payments and things. I think a big part of it is that we just didn't have enough retailers trying. You know, you go back 10, 15 years ago, and if you were a retailer in South Africa and they had the opportunity to start investing into online and maybe get to 1% of your sales coming through that channel, or open a store in a new mall that's just been opened, you would take the easy route, the less risky route. And so for a long time, there were no options for South Africans to shop. And when there were, we needed to overcome a big history of being more comfortable shopping in physical retailers, where other markets, particularly a market like the US, had catalog shopping for many years, and that transition is quite easy, whereas we didn't have quite as easy a transition. And malls are a big South African thing. We have one of the highest mall per capita ratios in the world. It's where we hang out on the weekends, it's where we go as part of entertainment, and you get a meal and you go to the shops. And so shifting that behavior to an online first shopping is a lot harder here.
So when you took yourself out of purely being an internet shop and put yourself into malls, what happened to sales? How did that change?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that happen. The first is that we have our online customers who are delighted that we have a store. They just like being in this physical context.
They always wondered what the inside of the internet looked like. They went onto your website and now they know it looks like this.
Well, this is not exactly what our warehouse looks like, but they do like being immersed in the brand. I think they like to be able to be around the products that they've seen for a long time. So we've got the online customers who are now comfortable shopping online in stores. We have the people who didn't know anything about YuppieChef's. They maybe thought we were a catering company or something, and now they walk past and they look from the outside and they go, that's what YuppieChef's is, and then they go and shop online. So it's building up a trust, it's building a sense of this is a tangible, real retailer. And then obviously you have the people who just come and experience this for the first time. So all of those things, it's quite difficult to judge the interplay between there. How much are we driving more sales to the online channel? How much is online driving to the stores? And we've taken an approach which says we're one company. We're not, we don't have a sort of online part of the business and a physical part of the business. We're just YuppieChef's. And so there are people in this store here who will buy something and have it delivered to their home, or delivered to another store, or back to this store for a collection, or we have someone online who shops and comes and collects here, and we're trying to make it one holistic experience.
I mean, but what happened to sales? Did you see the sort of YuppieChef's online trend do that, and as physical stores came in, or did you see everything go up?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're still a growing company, and so everything is still growing, and it's quite hard to know if we hadn't opened 7 stores in the last 2 years, what would online traffic have been? But we do definitely find online customers who perhaps have shopped with us for 10 years, and we can now see that they're shopping in the stores, and you think, well, maybe they would continue to shop online. So I think there's been an extent of cannibalization of online sales, but I also think it's exposed us to a much broader market.
But do you think you've grown your market?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
have you got evidence to show this?
Yeah, well, we've got evidence in that there's people who're shopping in this store who've never shopped with us before. And I think that some of that would they have encountered us online. There's certainly a big portion who wouldn't. We've definitely grown the awareness and the perception. I think as well, we are a retailer who customers almost expected to have some sort of physical presence. We would get calls a couple of years ago saying, I'm standing in Sandton, where's your store? And we'd say, well, we don't have a store. So I think we've almost just rounded out the overall experience for customers.
When you started out in 2006, and of course you are probably 10 years younger than Jeff Bezos's Amazon.com. Amazon started out as a bookstore and has evolved into the everything store. You have stuck to your knitting, and you've stuck and very, very focused on the kitchen, essentially. I mean, I look around the store and I see absolutely nothing I need and probably 500 things that I want. And perhaps that's the difference, is that you are a want rather than a needs experience.
Yeah. Well, I think that what you see in online, if you take a retailer like Amazon, they do sell everything, but they're also not necessarily known as being experts, and they definitely don't curate their range. So if you know exactly what you want, Amazon's a great place for you to go. And you will go there, you'll hunt, they'll probably have the cheapest price, and you'll get it delivered. But I think that that's only that's only one type of customer journey. There's a lot of customer journeys, which is someone walking into this store saying, I need to buy my wife something for our anniversary, and I have no idea what to buy. And in that case, Amazon's actually a very difficult shopping experience, because how many pages are you clicking through, and what do you even search for? Or if you do decide that you want a juicer and Amazon offers you 104,000 variations, you can maybe read reviews, but how do you really know what the best one is? So by sticking to kitchen, we get to curate our range and be experts in that range.
And again, how then do you select what you buy? Because if there are 104,000, it's a slight exaggeration, but there are multiplicity of juices, for argument's sake. You might have 2 or 3. How do you decide which 2 or 3 from a world of choice to actually carry in a store?
Well, by being a category expert, we obviously have buyers who this is their jobs, and so online we can list a much bigger range and then select from that to decide what we're going to feature within the store. So this store is only about 10% of what we sell, and that might be we don't sell that particular juicer, or maybe there's 10 colors of that juicer, and we'll have one here, but then allow customers to choose what they want and pay for it in the store, and then have it delivered somewhere else or back to the store for collection. So I think that online, offline, from a curation and range point of view, has really made it more accessible for us to provide a bigger range, but without taking as many risks.
And the buyers, do you employ the buyers? Are there global networks of buyers that go to the trade shows in Shanghai to see what the latest Chinese innovations are, and they say, I can get you 10,000 of these widgets that peel a lemon or whatever, get the zest of a lemon without the bitterness, or whatever the case might be, and you give them the thumbs up, or do you actually hire these people?
So we have our own buying team, and that is, we are sourcing from local suppliers. That is people who actually manufacture and make products in South Africa, particularly the food and the drink, and those things are made locally. Or there are other people who are importing the brands, but we also then go out and find them. We go to the factories in China, we go to the trade shows in Europe, and we're finding the latest trends and bringing them into the country. And I think because we're specialists in our category, we have a whole buying team that focuses just on this category, on the kitchen category.
The origins of YuppieChef is a couple of nerds who were doing some computer coding. They were building other people's websites. They got together just over 10 years ago and decided to build their own thing. We'll find out a little bit about the history of a South African, a quintessentially South African startup, sorting and sourcing from around the globe for a local market, and whether or not this is a model that could go anywhere else in the world in just a moment.